Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Candace Kaufman. So for today's video, I just wanted to take some time to honor my mother. So I don't have a script. I had some things written down, but I just decided I would just talk to you from my heart. So I am down by the river. My husband is taking some photos. And it's just a beautiful day. The sun is out. There's some beautiful looking clouds in the sky. And so I thought I would take this time. Our boys are with my in-laws, so we actually have a breather. So anyways, I wanted to just take some time to remember and to honor my mother. So if you have been watching my channel for a while, or if you just know me, my mother passed away last year. It was a year ago on November 29th. So I wanted to take some time on my channel to just remember my mother and honor her. And a year ago from December 9th, which was yesterday, we had my mother's celebration of life. Have you ever had an experience that just changed your life forever? Have you ever lived through something and it just changed you forever? That's what I experienced when my mother passed away. And so my mother's celebration of life, she planned it all before she passed away. And every so often she would get on her laptop and she would update the program. And she had, designated people to do different things. She had personally asked every pallbearer. And if you know my mother, or I should say if you knew my mother, she had a great sense of humor. So one of the pallbearers, which was my cousin, she talked to him, she asked him, and then she said, "Don't drop the box." And my cousin actually used those words. I think they had some issues. And he reminded everybody, don't drop the box. So my mother was filled with humor. I miss her humor. I miss her voice. She was an amazing woman. For many years, she was a stay-at-home mother. For some of that time, a very short period of time, she taught English at Christian Fellowship School. And one of the memories I have of my mother is she would grade our papers before we turned them in. So she would get her pen with red ink out. She would, circle, cross things out, whatever. And then I would get frustrated and she would say, "Do you want me to help you or not?" So English was usually my strong point because my mother would grade our papers before we turned them in, so we really had no excuse for not getting a good grade. So because of my mother. And my mother, she was very creative. She knew how to sew. She used to paint, which some people might not even know that. And I get a lot of my creativity from her. So she used to sew. I learned how to sew from my mother. She was a wonderful writer. So my mother was a prayer warrior. She was also very prophetic. It was not uncommon for something to be going on in my life and then she would have a dream. So that was not uncommon. She would always want to pray about things, which is a gift, I am so grateful for my parents and for my mother. Okay, we have changed locations and Eric is going to take. So one of the things about my mother is her creativity I was talking about. She used to make jewelry also for a period of time. She also had her jewelry in, I believe, a couple different shops downtown Columbia. And my mother is the one who reintroduced me to jewelry making. So I just had this desire to make jewelry. And so when I was 12 years old, my father took me to a shop in downtown Columbia called Cool Stuff, and they sold jewelry and I believe jewelry making supplies, stuff like that. So my father bought me my first little bit of jewelry making supplies. So that is when my jewelry making journey began. And then over the course of time, I stopped making jewelry. And then my mother reintroduced me to jewelry making as a young adult. She started making jewelry. My aunt started making jewelry. And so I picked jewelry making up again. And my mother loved to cook, and I love to cook. My mother was a wonderful cook, and that's something that she passed on to me, was cooking. She loved entertaining and inviting people over, and often in my childhood, there was so many people that my parents would invite over to our home. And the laughter, the great conversations, the fellowship, the company through the years, my parents' home was full, and I'm so grateful. My mother had the gift of hospitality. My mother had a prophetic gift. My mother had so many giftings that I am so grateful for the things that she passed on to me, for the things that she sowed into me, for the things that she taught me. And one of the things that I mentioned in one of my previous videos is she, along with my father, they would drive me back and forth to dance classes, and there was a time where she was just frustrated. I mean, there were 4 of us kids, and she was driving me, her and my father, they were driving me to dance 4 to 5 days a week. And that was in high school. You know, the more advanced you get, the more classes and rehearsals you have, especially during concert time. So during a regular week, I had 4 dance classes. And then during rehearsal time, some weeks we might have an extra day where we have to go and rehearse. So anyways, my mother was frustrated. I was about, I think about 15 years old or so. She was mopping the floor, and she was just telling God, you know, she was frustrated, and, you know, it was a lot, because all of us kids had activity. In the midst of her frustration, she heard the Lord say, it's okay, because one day she will be dancing for the King. And I'm so grateful for that word. When I am frustrated, when I am feeling down, it's okay. And I had a similar moment earlier this year in my kitchen, and tears just welled up because I was getting ready. I was preparing to dance. I was trying to prepare my home, and there was just so much that needed to be done so that I could go and dance. And this particular time, I'd been invited to dance at the Capitol in Jefferson City, Missouri. And this was a very special thing because it was the first time I had danced since my mother had passed away. And in my kitchen, I heard the Lord say to me, it's okay, because you're dancing for the King. And that just, so I'm so very grateful that my mother had the sensitivity to listen to the Lord. And there's so many prayers that she prayed over my life, so many words of wisdom that she spoke over me, and I'm so grateful. Those words will never fall to the ground, and those prayers are still, some of them are still in the heavenlies, just waiting to be released at the appropriate time. Some things she's prayed have already come to pass. So, thank you for listening. If you're still watching, thank you. I just wanted to share some things about my mother, to honor her, to remember her, and I thank God for her, and I thank you for watching. And I want to add this. Have you heard that saying that it's what you do in the dash that matters, meaning the day of your birth until the day of your death? It's what you do in between that matters. I beg to differ. It's what you do for the Lord that matters. Do you have any thoughts or memories you'd like to share?
She's a good woman.
Yeah.
Always cared for others more than herself.
Yeah.
One of the saints. So she'll be missed.
So the sun, it looks like it has gone down. It's still light out. Eric is taking pictures, but I just want to give an appropriate outro. Thank you so much for watching this far, for supporting my channel. If you have not already, I would love it if you gave this video a like and subscribe if you have not already. I would love to have you as a subscriber. And thank you for joining with me and hearing what I had to share about my mother. I miss her. I love her. I will hold her in my heart. And also, something I did not mention earlier on is my mom also started a nonprofit called Granny's House, servicing underprivileged children in the Columbia community. And I want to leave a link in the description where you can learn more about Granny's House. You can also give and support Granny's House if you would like to. If you live in Columbia and you would like to volunteer at Granny's House, you can learn more about it. I will link the website in the description so that you can learn more about Granny's House and ways to support. My mother's vision was to basically share the love of Jesus with children. And she did that for over 20 years, and Granny's House is still up and running. So again, if you would like to give financially or support in other ways like praying or even volunteering, the link will be in the description for Granny's House. So thank you so much for watching, and I truly appreciate you, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.